When humanity dreams up a utopia, the blueprints are usually, well, pretty vague.
Yeah, usually very abstract.
Right, you get harps, maybe some fluffy clouds, or uh, just a generalized sense of endless peace.
Exactly.
But today, we are taking a deep dive into a translated source text that treats paradise like, well, like a meticulously calculated civil engineering project.
It really does. It's fascinating.
It's a completely unique thought experiment, outlining a utopian realm known as the Thousand-Year World. And our mission today is to unpack the intricate mechanics, the bizarre slow-motion biology, and, the incredibly strict rules of this realm.
Right, to figure out exactly what it says about the concept of perfect human nature.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this because
Yeah.
the sheer level of mathematical and physical specificity we have in these sources is unlike any afterlife concept you have probably ever encountered.
It is the absolute definition of micromanaged perfection.
Oh, totally.
And, what makes this source so compelling isn't just the fantastical mythology. It's the structural world building that actively tries to systematically solve every single earthly problem.
Right.
The author doesn't just promise you that life is good in this realm. They detail the precise environmental, biological, and sociological reasons why suffering is literally impossible.
Right. So to understand how different this is, we really have to start with the commute. Like, how do you actually get to the Thousand-Year World?
The journey itself.
Yeah. According to the text, the transition from Earth takes exactly 16 minutes.
Very specific.
Right. It calculates the distance at about 960 light years away, traveling at what the source calls negative universe speed.
Right, negative universe speed.
Wait, I have to pause here. Does the text actually explain the physics of negative universe speed, or is it just like slapping a sci-fi label on a spiritual journey? Because that sounds like a broken speedometer on a spaceship.
Yeah, no, it is entirely pseudoscience mapping onto ancient archetypes. There is no hard physics behind it.
Okay, good to know.
The text uses terms like negative universe speed and calculates precise light-year distances because, well, modern human psychology craves scientific validation.
We want the math.
Right, we want our miracles to have metrics. But the actual experience of this 16-minute journey is purely mystical. Your earthly consciousness disappears, you feel completely weightless, and you enter what is described as a space tunnel.
And the visual the source gives for this tunnel is just wild.
Oh, it really is.
You don't feel any fear, just an overwhelming sensation of physical and mental pleasure. There are no physical objects around you, just beams of colored lines running backward, rushing past you as you hurtle through space.
It's almost like a movie.
Yeah, it feels like a sci-fi wormhole combined with a highly orchestrated surprise party.
That's a great way to put it.
Because just before you arrive, you dimly spot a colorful bridge in the distance.
Right.
The second you see it, you lose consciousness again. And when you finally wake up, the first thing you hear is celestial music. You open your eyes, and you are literally lying in the arms of a fairy, surrounded by kindly people who are actively cheering for your birth.
And the whiplash there is totally on purpose,
And absolutely.
You go from calculating light years to waking up in a fairy's arms. It merges the sterile comfort of mathematics with the deep, comforting human desire for divine welcome.
Right, a warm reception.
Exactly. And once you are actually standing in this world, that obsessive need to quantify paradise continues.
You aren't kidding. I mean, the geography is inventoried down to the peak. The world is exactly 10 times the size of Earth.
10 times.
It features 5 continuous mountain ridges, all soaring over 10,000 meters high. There are exactly 8,800 independent mountain peaks ranging from 3,000 to 6,000 meters tall.
The specificity is amazing.
Right. You have 10 large rivers flowing into a vastly fertile, flat lake containing almost 100,000 islands.
So many islands.
Yeah, but there are no oceans. There are no deserts, no barren wastelands, just endless mountain streams, waterfalls, and lakes.
And notice how structured that is. The human mind associates the unknown with danger.
Definitely.
So by numbering the rivers and the peaks, the author banishes chaos. The text systematically edits out the turbulent elements of Earth. Oceans are deadly, deserts are unforgiving.
True.
By removing them, the environment becomes permanently, structurally hospitable.
They also, they edit out the sun.
Right.
The lighting of this world comes from many distant planets, meaning there's absolutely no difference between day and night. And because of how the light hits, there are 0 shadows.
No shadows at all.
Wait, I am struggling with the physics of this one. A world without shadows.
It's hard to picture.
Right, Because if light is hitting everything equally from all directions simultaneously, doesn't that mean you lose all depth perception? The text frames this as a perfect paradise, but practically speaking, wouldn't walking around with zero contrast just be a blinding, disorienting nightmare?
Physically, yes, it would be incredibly disorienting. If you imagine holding your hand out right now without shadows, you wouldn't be able to easily distinguish the curvature of your fingers.
Right, it would just look flat.
Exactly. But what's fascinating here is why the author made this choice symbolically. Shadows represent the unknown.
Right.
They are where predators hide, where danger lurks, where our primal fears manifest. By eliminating shadows, the text is essentially surgically removing the concept of fear from the environment.
Wow. And because the environment is perfectly safe, that stability completely alters the biological timeline of the thousand-year world.
It slows everything down.
It does. The climate has no weather. The sky is blue, dotted with misty, color-changing clouds. But there is zero rain, zero snow, no thunder, no lightning, just a constant mild temperature.
And without the stress of changing seasons, plant life doesn't need to rush to survive a coming winter. So the biological clock slows down to a pace that is almost incomprehensible to us. The growth of plants is incredibly slow. A single leaf takes 3 Earth years just to sprout and reach its normal size.
3 years for one leaf. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because if you want a snack, a pear takes about 10 years to mature.
10 years.
You have to wait an entire decade for a piece of fruit to ripen. Imagine your perception of time slowing down to that level of a crawl. A decade passing is just a season for a piece of fruit.
And the scale matches the time.
Yeah, the flora itself is massive to match this time scale. There are perfectly straight pine trees standing hundreds of meters tall. You have yellowwood trees with crowns so large they could cover an entire football field.
Incredible.
And the flowers are constantly blooming, changing colors, and giving off completely different fragrances as they shift.
It requires the ultimate patience. But naturally, you have the time to wait. The text specifies that the lifespan of all plants and animals in this realm is 10 times that of those on Earth. So if the average human lifespan on Earth is calculated at 100 years, the people here live to be 1,000. That extended timeline allows for a completely stress-free coexistence with nature.
A completely pest-free coexistence, too.
Oh, totally.
The animal kingdom has been radically sanitized. There are hundreds of thousands of species of land, air, and aquatic animals, but absolutely no meat eaters, no lions, no wolves.
No predators at all.
Right, and there are no reptiles, so you never have to worry about a snake. And the author clearly had a vendetta against summer camp because there are no flies, no mosquitoes, no bed bugs, no fleas, no centipedes.
Nothing that bites.
Exactly. The absolute most brutal, violent act in the entire food chain of this utopia is a bird eating a worm.
The author has painstakingly gone through the earthly experience and line item vetoed every single minor and major discomfort. It is a completely vegetarian utopia by design, free from the violence of survival.
Logistically, though, this creates a massive problem.
How so?
Well, if there are no predators, no diseases, and no harsh winters to thin the herds, why isn't this place completely overrun with animals? I mean, an unchecked population of herbivores with 1,000-year lifespans would eat the 1,000-year world down to the bedrock in a matter of centuries.
That is a great point. But the text specifically anticipates this logistical hurdle.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it explicitly states that the grass-eating animals have intentionally poor fertility. They reproduce at incredibly low rates to naturally prevent overpopulation.
Oh, wow.
Right? So the ecosystem is a perfectly balanced, closed loop where nature doesn't need violence or starvation to maintain equilibrium.
Okay, so because this ecosystem is perfectly self-sustaining, humanity is entirely stripped of the need to hunt, farm, or survive harsh winters. So without survival as a driving force, how does human society actually organize itself?
It's very minimalist.
Yeah, the population of the entire 1,000-year world is kept remarkably small, strictly under 200 million people. Because of this, 90% of all the abundant fruits and half-mature cereals that grow everywhere are just left to be eaten by the animals and birds.
Right, and the human diet relies entirely on those melons, fruits, and grains. Their drink of choice is a mixture of spring water, honey, and a specific type of tea-like leaf.
Sounds peaceful.
It is a life of extreme, effortless abundance. There is no modern industry, no agriculture, no livestock farming, no sprawling cities, and no dense rural villages.
Honestly, it sounds like an eternal high-end nature retreat. The only physical labor anyone engages in is building basic infrastructure like roads, boats, and houses, or raising silkworms to weave cloth.
Right, very basic crafts.
Yeah, they cut soft wood using saws made from tightly twisted plant fiber ropes. They build roofs out of large, flexible leaves and construct walls by densely tying together branches of red salix.
And the clothes.
Oh yeah, everyone wears incredibly thin, dyed silk clothing woven from those silkworms, giving the whole population a transcendent, celestial vibe.
Yeah.
But despite this radical freedom and extreme abundance, the societal structure is surprisingly rigid.
It is. The text describes a strictly maternal society. There is no marriage, which means there are no formal family units, no dynasties, and no inheritances to fight over.
Right.
Romantic and physical love occurs randomly, but humans here do not have frequent sexual desires like Earthlings do. They only experience 3 or 4 specific heat periods a year.
Right. It's very regulated by biology.
Exactly. Women have exceptionally low fertility, usually having only 1 or 2 children in their entire 1,000-year lifespan.
But I have to push back on the division of labor here, though.
Yeah.
The text is very clear that men are responsible for building the roads, the boats, and the houses.
Yes.
And women are responsible for caring for the children, raising the silkworms, spinning the yarn, and weaving the clothes. If survival is completely moot, and you have this ultimate ethereal freedom, why preserve such traditional, rigidly defined gender roles?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, even a utopia requires an anchor.
An anchor, okay.
When you strip away earthly constructs like nations, politics, and class struggles, you remove the primary ways humans have historically defined themselves. The author likely preserves these defined roles as part of the natural, unquestioned order of things. It gives the population a sense of innate purpose.
So what does this all mean for human motivation? I mean, if you don't have to build industries to secure resources and you don't have the drive to build a family dynasty or accumulate wealth, what actually gets you out of your fairy's arms every day?
The text replaces survival motivation with community motivation.
Okay.
Because there is no wealth gap, no political factions, and no religion, there is zero competition. People aren't trying to outdo one another.
That makes sense.
Work isn't a chore you do to pay rent. Participating in collective labor is considered the highest form of entertainment. It is purely about the joy of contribution, followed closely by playing games and enjoying tourism around the landscape.
So it's literally a community of people who genuinely just want to build a soft wood house and weave some silk together.
Essentially, yes.
The text also notes there are 3 origins for the people living here. You have locals who were born there, perfected earthling souls who achieve perfect human nature, and law violators from something called the 10,000-year world.
Right, and that third group implies a massive cosmic hierarchy. Even in this realm of absolute peace, a utopia still requires absolute rules to function.
Definitely.
There is a management class, and there is one fundamental, unbreakable code.
The supreme law. It boils down to 2 distinct mandates. Absolutely no private ownership and absolutely no waste.
Right, and the text gives 2 very specific examples to illustrate this. The first example of illegal private ownership revolves around relationships.
Ah, okay.
If you love a woman and you try to claim her as yours, hindering her freedom and preventing her from having relationships with other men, you have broken the supreme law. Possessiveness is treated as a severe crime.
Wow. And the second example is about food. If you take a bite of one of those pears, the ones that take 10 years to grow, and you eat half of it and then throw the rest away, that is considered the ultimate waste.
Unforgivable.
Yeah, you're officially a criminal. It is almost as if the author looked at human anxiety like the deep-seated fear of someone stealing our partner, the guilt of hoarding and wasting resources, and decided that the only way to achieve genuine peace is to surgically remove the human ego entirely. The concepts of mine and disposable just cannot exist.
True utopia requires the complete death of selfishness. And if you can't master that, there are immediate consequences.
Right.
If you are caught being possessive or throwing away your fruit, your punishment is that you are banned from participating in collective work.
I have to laugh at the irony of that punishment.
Why is that?
Well, to anyone listening who is exhausted by a 9-to-5 job, being banned from work sounds like a mandatory vacation.
Oh, sure.
But in the 1,000-year world, where collective labor is the highest form of joy and your main social connection, being banned is an agonizing social exile. It is a severe adult timeout.
Absolutely. Social isolation is the most effective deterrent in a society built entirely on community. But that is just the immediate punishment. The ultimate retribution comes at the end of your lifespan.
Right, because nobody dies of unnatural causes in this world. There are zero diseases, no infectious viruses, no diet-related illnesses, and no stress-induced psychological breakdowns.
Nothing like that.
You also can't die in an accident. The text explicitly reassures us that there are no plane crashes, no traffic collisions. You don't have to worry about being bitten by a snake, attacked by a shark, or accidentally falling off a cliff.
You simply age gracefully. You reach your youth at age 100, and that youthful prime lasts all the way until you're over 700 years old.
That's a long youth.
Yeah, and from 700 until you pass away at 1000, you enter a period of profound self-refinery, participating in the actual management of the realm. You die a peaceful death of old age.
But if you were a lawbreaker, if you wasted that pair or tried to own someone, your soul does not get to stay.
No, it doesn't.
The ultimate punishment is that your soul is downgraded. You are cast down back to earth to be reborn as a human, entering a brand new cycle of earthly suffering. Wait, if the ultimate punishment is being sent back to earth to suffer, does that mean we, you and I, and everyone listening to this right now, are just the failed, wasteful residents of the 1,000-year world?
This raises an important question, right? It completely recontextualizes the human experience. The text clearly states that the 1000-year world observes Earth.
Oh, really?
Yes, from their perspective, our world is the penal colony. Earth is where you go when you fail to master your ego, your possessiveness, and your greed.
Wow.
If Earth is the punishment, the goal of life here is to refine your nature enough to prove you belong back in a world of shared abundance.
Okay, to wrap all of this up, the 1,000-year world is just an astonishingly complex thought experiment. It is a mathematically precise, deeply mystical utopia where slow living isn't just a lifestyle trend, it is a biological necessity.
Absolutely.
It takes a decade to grow an apple, you live to be 1,000, and the ultimate crimes are selfishness and waste. It operates completely outside the bounds of survival economics, replacing competition with a deep, instinctive drive for community labor and peaceful coexistence.
It forces us to examine our own priorities.
It really does.
The source takes everything stressful, dangerous, or inequitable about human existence, meticulously extracts it, and replaces it with a system governed by patience, shared resources, and profound psychological safety.
So think about your own daily habits for a second. As you go through your week, are you cultivating the perfect human nature required to earn your ticket on that 16-minute cosmic commute?
Good question.
Or are you, metaphorically speaking, throwing away half your pears and letting your ego dictate your relationships? Are you proving you belong in the 1,000-year world, or are you just earning another lifetime down here?
It is a potent question to carry with you.
It is. But there is one tiny lingering detail from the text that I just cannot get out of my head. We talked about the origins of the population.
Right, the three groups.
Yeah, you have the locals, the perfected souls from Earth, and then those law violators who are cast down into the 1,000-year world from an even higher realm, the 10,000-year world.
A realm completely beyond the comprehension of even a 1,000-year utopia.
Right. Think about that. If the 1,000-year world, a place with zero disease, no weather, no war, a 1,000-year lifespan, and absolute mathematical perfection, if that is the punishment realm for people who messed up in the 10,000-year world, what on earth could the 10,000-year world possibly look like?
It boggles the mind.
And more importantly, in a realm that unimaginably perfect, what kind of cosmic crime could someone possibly commit to get kicked out? Something to ponder the next time you look up at the stars or look at your fruit bowl.